and welcome to the Flossy podcast. If you have been here before, you know the score by now. But if you're new here, hello, my name is Claire. I make things and I design things, and then I come on here and I talk to you about them. So that's basically the podcast in a nutshell. And right here is my little furry partner in crime. This is Tilly. She likes to hang out with me while I record the podcast, and yeah, she's super cute and a little silly, so hopefully you'll enjoy her presence here as well. Time to time, she does like to woof. I apologise. But yeah, so this is us. This is the Flossy podcast. It is March. I don't know why. I don't know how it happened, but we're not going to dwell on it. We're going to not worry about it. The last time I recorded was Christmas. So yeah, I don't know what happened to the time. So, but like I said, we're going to swiftly move on and not worry about it too much. Because I have tons of things to talk to you about. Actually, way too many things than I could probably fit into this podcast episode. I think I'm going to record again next week with a follow-up podcast, because since I last spoke to you, I've made and got quite a few things on and off the needles, and I want to show you all of them, but I also don't want to take up 4 hours of your time. So we're going to settle in for a cheeky half hour chatting about some updates I've got for you, some shop news, and a couple of things that are off and on my needles. So let's start with some of the shop news, well, the flossy news, I guess, and that is I'm hosting a KAL with my really good friend Ruth over at Raincloud Sage, and I'm kind of excited about it. I'm not really, I'll be honest, I've tried hosting KALs in the past, ages ago, but yeah, they've not always gone the best, and I probably just not approached them properly. But I'm really excited about this one. So we're doing the March Hat KAL, and it's just going to be a really nice community building project, and yeah, it's going to be just really chilled and super nice. So to join, if you would like to join us, you just need your hat pattern, your yarn of choice, and we're going to be using the hashtag March Hat KAL over on Instagram, where we're just going to share our photos. There'll be prizes along the way, and we're just going to have a lot of fun. If you are in need of maybe a little bit of knitting company, something to work on over March, then please do join. I think it's going to be really nice, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to share with you in a little moment what I'm going to be putting on my needles, and yeah, so if you would like to join, please do let me know if you're going to in the comments below, and if you have an idea of what you'd like to knit, and yeah, I can't wait to see what everyone makes. And you know me, I'm a big fan of hats, so yeah, which leads me on to my second piece of shop news. So for the March Hat KAL, like I said, you can use any pattern, any yarn you like. You don't have to use one of my patterns, and you don't have to use Ruth's yarn to join. It's like a complete free-for-all. But in case you were looking for a new pattern, or you'd be interested in knitting one of mine, I am doing a little discount in both my Ravelry store and on my website. So from now until March 13th, I'm offering 20% off all my hat patterns. So you can, if you're interested, if you had your eye on one of them and you were thinking that maybe it'd be fun to join in the Hat KAL, well, now you've got a little discount. So if you would like to shop my patterns on Ravelry, then all you need to do to get the 20% discount is to use March Hat KAL. That's the code that you put in at checkout. And if you want to shop my patterns on my website, there's no code needed. It's automatically applied, and that's going to run right the way through to the end of Sunday, which is the 13th. Yeah, I'm going to put all the details below, because I'll be honest, I put all these things together myself, and then I sit here and my brain just is like a sieve. So I'll have all the details below that you can check out and all the links. But that leads us on to my third piece of news, which is if you are on the lookout for hat pattern and my older ones weren't doing it for you, this way. Released today is a brand new hat pattern. This is Dorothy. So, if Dorothy looks slightly familiar, there's a reason for that. Dorothy is a sibling pattern of my Dotty hat. I like to say that Dorothy is Dotty's slightly more sensible sister. Slightly less frivolous, but with a good amount of whimsy as well. And yeah, I'm really excited. So Dorothy's been in my brain ever since I did Dotty, and I love Dotty. Dotty's one of my favourite hat designs that I've done. But ever since I did Dotty, I thought, ooh, if I continued, like, if I redesigned that, the crown a little bit, I could get something that's really nice and textured. And where kind of the colour blocking and the cables is definitely the focus on Dotty. I think the crown is really where Dorothy shines. And the really nice thing about it is you can get one whole hat. There's 2 sizes in the pattern, and for both sizes you only need 100 grams skein of yarn. Now, for the larger size, it may mean that depending on how big you've done your swatch, you may have to unravel your swatch, but you can definitely get a whole hat from one skein, even with the folded brim. So, which I love. I love that when you can, because it's great for stash busting, and I'm terrible at having like single skeins of yarn that I picked up because I got excited about them, and then I don't know what to do with them, and normally a hat is a good way to go. So yeah, this is Dorothy. The pattern launches today, so there's no introductory discount just because I'm already running the other discount, which will work for Dorothy as well. I am working on, so as this goes, so I'm recording this, it's Tuesday. So I'm recording this Tuesday and it's going to be launching Thursday, I think. Again, all the details are below. If it's Thursday when you're watching this, you know that I'm right. I am working on something because Dorothy and Dotty are 2 different patterns, but there's a lot of similarities in them as well. So if you previously bought Dotty and you'd like to purchase Dorothy as like the sister pattern, I'm working on setting up a little discount for those people so you get it at a more reduced price. I think I'll probably do it at, you can bundle the 2 patterns together for if you buy one you get the other automatically half price is how I'm going to do it. I just haven't quite worked out how I'm going to do that for existing Dotty customers, so hopefully all the details will be below for that when I've worked out the kinks. But yeah, if you haven't got either pattern and you'd like both Dotty and Dorothy, you can bundle these patterns together and get one for half price. So, and as I said, there's also the discount running at the moment for the March Hat KAL, so yeah. So this is Dorothy. I'm so excited. It's been a minute since I released a pattern, so it feels really nice to get something new out there, and yeah. So let's talk about the yarn for a minute. So as with Dotty, this is Proto Delano's Oveus. I'm completely blanking on the colourway, so I'm going to pop it before, but it's this gorgeous, it's like an apricot colour, but it's got a lot of, it's not too, what am I trying to say, it's not too pastel-y, it's like got a little bit more depth, so it's not, I won't say it was a true pastel shade, it's just beautiful, and it's definitely good for for the weather at the moment, which is pretty grey, so it's a nice colour that'll just brighten the day up. So yeah, this is Dorothy, a brand new pattern. I'm really excited to share it with you. Oh, and that, I think, is it for shop updates. Ooh, normally I don't have that many shop things with you, but yeah, we're gonna move on to some of my other makes now, because like I said, I have a lot, so I'm gonna record something else to chat about some other things I did, because I finished off a lot of projects over Christmas. Normally at Christmas time I pick a new pattern and I buy a new wool and I do like a Christmas jumper, and I was sat there thinking, and I have a lot of wool. I think, like a lot of us, I'm a little bit of a yarn hoarder, and I have wool in my stash that I've just had for years and years. So I thought, rather than going out and buying a whole new set of yarn and buying a new pattern, I thought, well, it's not so much the pattern, it's the yarn, but I thought I'm going to go through my stash and start working on projects I've started and I want to get finished, which is why I think in my last episode I showed my watershed scarf, because that's one thing that I really wanted for winter, and then I just went stash diving. So I'm going to show you, first of all, the first thing that I finished over Christmas is my Dahlia hat, which is from Sari Nordland. And I think I talked about this in the last episode, that this was my very first 2-colour brioche hat. And it's also one of the first times, it's the first time I've ever used a speckled yarn, because honestly speckled yarns slightly terrify me, because you never know where the speckle's going to land. So that always really bothers me. But yeah, I'm so happy with it. So this is Dahlia. This is by Sari Nordland. I'm going to try and put it on and not make a mess. I'm looking at myself in the monitor and it's reversed, which basically is way too much for my brain to work out. So not exactly how I normally wear it, but it gives you an idea. Also, it looks really fun with this sweater, which I never thought of before. So I love a beret, so I'm really chuffed. See, it's got a little I-cord nubbin on it, and it's a really fun pattern. So if you are looking for a project like this, 2-colour brioche, and you want to join the Hat KAL, I'll put the link to this pattern down below as well, because it's so much fun. Starting it off was a little tricky. I think I mentioned that before, not being used to 2-colour brioche, and also because you cast on in the centre and then knit out, and so I had to do it on double pointed needles, and I've not worked on double pointed needles in I have no idea how long. So yeah, that was a little tricky, but once I got going and I'm kind of mastered doing the increases and everything, I was really happy. And the fun thing about this, as everyone knows, I'm sure, before I started, it's more of a revelation to me because I'm super late to the brioche game, but brioche is of course completely reversible, so I did like a light grey for the other colour, so that's a grey beret. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. I highly recommend the pattern, and I'm going to link everything below. So that was my Christmas cast on, using stash yarns. So I was really happy to get those used. And my next project, which is something that's growing really quickly, is I'm knitting another vanilla heirloom sweater. You know, I can't help myself. I was going through my stash and I had this Drops alpaca silk that I've had in my stash. It must be 3 or 4 years now. They've just been like clustered in a little ball. And I think I was like half thinking of holding them double with something, but I don't know, I got playing around and swatching with it, and I thought, oh, it makes such the lightest fabric. There we go. That I thought I'm just going to knit, because I know that vanilla heirloom sweater, I know I wear it, and I talk about it all the time, but I know it's going to fit perfectly, and it's really, if you want to adjust things slightly, it's really easy to adjust. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, the Vanilla Heirloom Sweater by the Sustainablist Co. is a fantastic pattern that's is basically like a vanilla raglan sweater. It's got a compound raglan, but it's designed, it's written for like 5 different gauges. So if you've got a sweater quantity of yarn, you can swatch whatever weight yarn it is, and there'll be a gauge that you're going to be able to match to, maybe with a little tweaking. But it's just my go-to pattern if I've got a sweater quantity of yarn, because I know it's going to fit really well on the shoulders, and if I want to make any modifications, I found it really easy to do that. So for this version, I've made it so I'm going to keep it quite cropped, because I want to be able to wear it with dresses and high-waisted pants, and as you can see, I haven't cast it off yet, because I'm going to get the sleeves done and then try it on to see where it lands, because sometimes the sleeves will affect where the hem lands, at least it does on me. So I'm going to wait till the end, because I could have cast it off, but it's so floofy that it's not one of those kind of yarns that would be super fun from picking a bind off. So I put it on some scrap yarn, and I did a little bit of waist shaping as well, just to bring it in slightly, because I want it to have like a slight vintagey feel to it, which is why I also did a folded neckline. So the pattern just calls for you to knit a 1x1 rib and then bind off. I did half twisted rib, and then I folded it over and I've sewn it down, which again just gives you that, I feel like gives a slight more vintagey retro feel to it. And yeah, now I'm just on the arms, on the sleeves. So I've not completely decided what to do with the sleeves. I think I might go to a similar length to this one and keep it 3/4 length sleeves. I'm also starting to think, because I do still have quite a bit of the yarn left, I'm wondering if I might even rip back slightly and increase out a bit to give me a little bit more, like not super balloony, but more of a balloon sleeve. I don't know. What do you think I should do? My other vanilla heirloom that I wear all the time, I literally just knitted it straight. I didn't do any shaping and then went to the cuff. And it's quite a slim sleeve anyway, so it doesn't make a lot of extra fabric. So I'm trying to decide if I want it a little bit more poofy, or just keep it straight and then stop it 3/4 length. So I'm going to give this a try on at some point and see how I'm feeling with it all. But yeah, I'm really happy with it so far. And it's so light and really floofy. So it's going to be one of those great pieces that I can hopefully throw on over anything. I kind of struggle with, you see people with like, I'll see people wearing like long dresses and long skirts with a sweater thrown over, and it just looks effortless and really elegant, and I try to do it and I look like I'm stood in a hole. I don't know, it just never seems to work. So hopefully with the slight alterations I've done here, that will work, but I guess we'll see. Hey Pop. Tilly came back. Yeah, we'll be done soon, I'll be a minute. I think she wants to go outside. So before I go, I'm going to show you really quickly the yarn that I've chosen from my stash to cast on for the March Hat KAL. So the pattern I'm going to be using is actually one of Ruth's patterns. It's her Braven hat. It's a lovely, really, I love a staple, you know what I'm like. So I really like a ribbed, like I don't have like just a ribbed hat in my rotation. And she's got this lovely pattern Braven that she actually designed to go with her yarn Braven, which I don't have here. But what I do have is some of Ruth's alpaca yarn, which is right here. This is in the brown colourway. I know she doesn't have very much of this left anymore. Ooh, there we go. And there's dog hair on it. Apologies. But it's written for, so this is a DK weight and her pattern's written for a worsted weight. But Ruth actually made her own version using her alpaca yarn, and I'm not going to be able to say this, pletlopi? I'll write it down below. It's the unspun roving yarn that everyone is using, and I've literally had this in my stash. Ooh, I think it's like 5 years and never used it until he also got a hold of it at one point, so which is why it looks a little bit bedraggled. But Ruth made her version using these held double, and it looks so fun and it looked really cozy. So I'm going to give it a go because the brown is actually, it's a really cool shade of brown. It has a lot of grey in it, and this is like a nice cool light grey. So I think they're going to go really well together. So I'm looking forward to casting that on later today for the KAL. So yeah, so watch this space. If you want to see how it's looking when it's knit up, then definitely check out some of my stories or check out on Instagram. And I'll be updating you very soon when I record the next podcast, which will be way sooner than this one. I absolutely promise. Hopefully I'll record next week, I think. I think it'd be nice to keep things on a roll a bit now for the rest of the year. But we'll see. But yeah, that's what I wanted to show you today. Next time I actually have something that I did some surgery on one of Chris's sweaters recently, so I'm excited to share that with you, how that went. And yeah, more sewing as well. I really want to get into doing a lot more sewing, especially moving into spring and summer. Not that I stopped knitting in spring and summer, although I kind of did last year for some reason. I don't know why, but I lost my mojo a bit, but I can't see that happening this year. So lots of things planned, lots of exciting things to share with you, but for today I'm going to pop off, being stared at by the little pup. Yeah, I won't be a minute. It's okay. She needs to go outside. So I'm going to take her out, and yeah, let me know in the comments if you're going to join the KAL. Don't forget that the patterns are on sale right the way through to Sunday the 13th. If you enjoyed this video, please do hit subscribe and give it a big thumbs up. If it was boring as sin for you, then give it a big thumbs down. That's totally fine as well. And I'll be seeing you very soon with more projects and a bit more making. And have a great rest of the week. Alright folks, stay safe and I'll see you soon. Bye!